Hello and welcome to the International Mediation Awareness Week podcast. I'm Joanne Law, Regional Coordinator for Australasia. The next IMAW, International Mediation Awareness Week, is on the 7th to the 11th of November 2022. Leading up to that, this podcast will introduce you to regional coordinators, event partners and speakers who'll share with you their insights and passion for mediation. Hello and welcome. Today for the International Mediation Awareness Week podcast, I'm talking with Fiona Kirkman from Australia. Fiona is a family law specialist and family dispute resolution practitioner mediator. Welcome, Fiona.
Thank you, Joanne. Lovely to be here.
Now, would you take a moment just to let people know a little bit about you and your background?
Yes, so I'm a family lawyer, a specialist family lawyer and mediator. I've been practicing in the family law world for almost 20 years, and I have my own mediation practice, Kirkman Family Law, and I'm also co-founder of a legal tech product, FamilyProperty.
Absolutely. And you've been making some real waves and recognition with what you've done with FamilyProperty. Not everyone understands what legal tech is. Can you maybe give a little bit more background?
The aim of legal technology is to really automate some of the processes of, say, the family mediation process that might be quite manual or repetitive. And having worked in the family law world for almost 20 years, I know that there's a big pain point around the administration of doing family law and family mediation. And my techie husband, Tim, says where there's a lot of manual processes and a lot of repetition, there's a lot of opportunity for automation by using technology to automate the processes, freeing you up as a family mediator to focus on hopefully the work you love doing, which hopefully is the mediation work, but really assisting in gathering the information, gathering the documents, modelling the figures, and or even automation of some of the documents, the proposals, a heads of agreement, a parenting plan, etc. So, yeah, that's legal tech in summary.
Excellent. Thank you. And full disclosure, I do know, Fiona, we actually did our family dispute resolution practitioner training together, and I've kept in contact as FamilyProperty's gone through its various iterations, developing into the product that it now is. And they've been fabulous in their support for Interact Support, which is a not-for-profit that they've been providing opportunity to use the product.
Yes, it has been great partnering with you, Joanne, through the times that we were students in the FDR course to working with you in the Mediation Institute, really getting FamilyProperty in from the ground up on people who are training to become family dispute resolution practitioners. And as you said, in Interact Support, your not-for-profit, which I know you're doing amazing work in to really help the families going through separation and automating some of the processes to save time and bring about more efficiencies.
Absolutely. And I suppose having legal tech, it's really come of its own in these last few years with COVID and COVID restrictions that have made face-to-face services difficult. So the absolute efficiencies of not having to use email are huge.
Yes, well, I think there's some benefits out of COVID, and one of them has been the adoption of legal technology. I think had it not been for COVID, would probably be another 10 years before really online mediation would have taken off, and the use of expert systems like FamilyProperty to help with the processes of gathering information and documents and modelling proposals, etc. So I think the technology adoption out of COVID's been great, and we've seen that from all levels. So we've seen that in Australia, the family law courts have implemented technology to bring about efficiencies. And then that's filtering through to the lawyers and the mediators. And we also work with a number of family relationship centres and legal aid organisations, etc. So work across that whole family law ecosystem to really build out efficiencies using technology, which then saves the mediators and the lawyers a lot of time and cost in doing the admin that hopefully they can then pass on to their clients as well, and they can do things more time, cost efficiently, and saving on the stress involved in a matter and really focusing hopefully on the work they love to do.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. The big thing about COVID is it has really speeded up that adoption curve that usually takes a long time for the bulk of people to take on new technologies.
Yes, forced change.
Yeah, absolutely. So you presented for us last year for the International Mediation Awareness Week. So thank you very much. What's been going on with you in the last year since? Any highlights?
Yeah, so around that time, we were actually acquired. We've gone from a startup, couple in law, myself, and technology, my husband, startup bootstrapping from our garage over the last few years to last year being acquired by Smokeball, which is a leading global practice management system that actually helps both lawyers and mediators in the process of like the business management, client management, emails, time management, invoicing, etc. So that was a really exciting thing to be acquired at the end of last year by Smokeball. And last year we did a presentation on the benefits of using Smokeball and FamilyProperty together as an end-to-end solution in helping to run the business of a family mediation practice, but also to conduct a family mediation from intake to disclosure to balance sheets and parenting plans to hopefully a heads of agreement. Since then, there's been a lot of exciting things. We're exploring going into the US. So if there's any family mediators from the United States, we'd love to speak to you. So we did a trip earlier this year and spoke at a big conference in Chicago, which happened to be on family law technology, which was a great topic for us to speak on. And we met a number of divorce attorneys and mediators in the state of Illinois, actually, where Smokeball is based in Chicago, and really exploring what it would look like to take the product to an overseas market. So if anyone's from the US, love to speak to you. We've also, I guess, grown from that small startup and about 3 of us to a dozen of us. So with that, scaling up the team comes sort of reinventing or renovating the foundations of the business as well as the product. So we've been working hard on a second version of the integration with Smokeball and FamilyProperty, and we've got some exciting things happening soon in that space, but also some really beneficial features of helping to share the balance sheet, work on some of the court forms here in Australia, and some other product features that we're soon going to be launching. So there's been a lot happening over the last year, and we continue to work with education organisations like Mediation Institute and others to really help from when people are becoming mediators or lawyers all the way through to we have a court pilot and work with not-for-profit organisations as well as small, medium and large family law firms and family mediation practices. So a lot happening over the last year, as always, but exciting things.
Yeah, and also getting industry recognition. You've been winning awards. And
yes, I know you have as well, Joanne. So yes, it's been great to be recognised in digital innovation, both individually and as a team with FamilyProperty. And it's really a testament to the team. We have a great team that have a background. A lot of us have a background either as a family lawyer or a family mediator or both. So we're really experts building out the expert system and then selling and training on the expert system. So we know the joys and the pains of what lawyers and mediators in the family law space are going through, and how technology can help at each of those pain points along the way.
Absolutely. Now, this year with the International Mediation Awareness Week, what we're doing is we're having each day as its own mini themed type event, and you've very generously given your time to present for us on 2 days, one on Wednesday, which will be on the Family Law Day. And you're going to be talking about legal tech and technology advances that are relevant particularly to family lawyers and family mediators. So can you give us a little bit more of a taste?
The topic's emerging technologies in family mediation, and I really want to look at what are the benefits of implementing technology into your family mediation practice, and then looking at what is legal technology. When I started in my legal career, I was actually started out on a typewriter. Things have come a long way, thankfully, since working on a typewriter. But so what is legal technology? What is out there? What is AI, so artificial intelligence and machine learning? What are all of those concepts that we should start to become aware of as things change in the technology space, and how can they benefit you as a family mediator? And then look at, okay, if we look at the pain points of the client journey as a client going through family mediation, or you as the family mediator or your staff who manage the matter, where are the pain points of lots of admin or things that you don't like doing, or things that the client could do where technology could assist? And so we'll look at, for example, intake and how FamilyProperty can assist with that, document collection and disclosure, modelling out the figures, drafting a parenting plan, those sorts of things, and how we can use technology. And lastly, we'll look at, when you're implementing technology, how best to do that, because change management can be hard, as you said earlier, Joanne, and having done this with over hundreds of law firms and mediation practices, how best to, we know some of the tips and traps of implementing technology. So how can you make it work for your firm? And that might be, say, getting a champion within your firm who's the tech savvy person, or it may be making sure the software integrates, making sure you do the demos and the training with the technology provider. So those sorts of things. And then I guess where the future lies in technology, the combination of IQ, EQ, or the emotional intelligence, but also the addition of AI or technology. For the mediators of the future, we need to have that winning combination, IQ, EQ, and AI. That's what will be needed in the future. So to really look at ourselves as a family mediators and our practice, and look at, where do you currently sit in that innovation scale, and where do you want to sit, and how we can, as a tech provider or others in the industry, help you to get to that point.
That's wonderful. One thing you mentioned was about the exchanging of documents and proposals and things like that. An area that I'm really interested in is the working collaboration between lawyers and family law mediators. And sometimes it's virtually not there at all. But in the client's best interests, it's there really strongly, so that the information that's needed for the mediation can be provided more seamlessly, and also so that clients can get advice on proposals and things like that. Can you maybe give us a little bit more insight about how some of that might work?
Yeah, so we've had a few models that we've built out where there's a connection between the lawyer account and a mediator account, and how through technology that information, or what you agree to share between the lawyer and the mediator, can be synced or shared with a click of a button, really saving that time of sending emails or letters or telephone calls backwards and forwards
Yeah.
in sharing that information. And I think, as you said, the collaboration between lawyers and mediators is really important. And I think we as mediators have specific training on how to work with both parties and how to manage their emotions and how to facilitate the discussion towards a resolution without court, ideally. And the lawyers have different training on providing legal advice, legal representation, advocating on behalf of their clients. So both roles are important in a family separation, but I think, how can we work together? And then on top of that, how can technology help the lawyers and the mediators work together? I think technology can really assist in that space by the sharing of information and sharing of documents, and really fast track how that's done. And with our expert system, it really provides expert knowledge for a family mediator on what is the right information to collect, what is the right documents to collect, what is the right sort of information we need for an agreement, so that when it comes to the lawyers providing the legal advice, either before, during, or after the mediation, before the finalisation and the formalisation of the agreements, that information flow is, and collaboration is, best practice between lawyers and mediators.
Absolutely. I think it's so critical. And just for anyone who's thinking, oh, but what if they see information they're not allowed to? It's the structure is very robust.
Yeah.
The lawyer only gets to see their client's side of things, don't they?
Yes, and gone are the days of sort of mediators, hopefully, doing things pen and paper and whiteboards. The technology can really get all of the information you need to then be able to properly draft and really save the client's time and cost in formalising those court orders, for example.
Oh, yes. Remember the dreaded whiteboards when we were training. That's fabulous. So really looking at legal tech, how it works, what it does in terms of increasing the efficiency of our processes so that we can be more present and engaged with the clients to help them manage that. She'll also give us a little bit of a techie's insight into some of the things that are happening and coming down the line in terms of that artificial intelligence and machine learning and things like that. So definitely something to come and attend if you're involved in family law in any capacity whatsoever, a mediator, a lawyer, or a paralegal, or any of those sorts of roles. So International Mediation Awareness Week, the website is imaw.org, and you'll be able to find your way to the Australian events and the events that we'll be running, but we'll be putting it out plenty on social media. So just keep an eye out and click on the link. It's free to attend. There is a small fee if you want a certificate for professional development evidence. On today, we have a day that's going to be absolutely focused for lawyers. So a variety of different things. Some are family law specific, others are not. But what Fiona has agreed to do for us is a mock mediation, or part of a demonstration of the intake process. Sometimes lawyers question or think, oh, why do we need to do that? I can just send you an overview or a case file note or something like that. Surely that's enough. Why do you need to waste time on an intake? And Fiona's going to show you why that it's not a waste of time. Is that the case, Fiona?
Yes, so we're going to go through a mock parenting and property family law intake, and what we cover off in that intake session and why it's so important to the family dispute resolution process. My view, preparation's the key to a successful mediation and resolution as well. And our role also is to make sure that we've done an assessment as to suitability, and that's a big part of the intake process, as well as gathering the right information. And what I look at doing is explaining the mediation process, because remember, a lot of these people have never been to mediation, and explaining how that works. looking at doing a suitability assessment as per the requirements on us as family dispute resolution practitioners, looking at how the parties are communicating and if there's any power imbalances, etc. And then looking at getting a good background, and I use FamilyProperty in a questionnaire to do that prior to the intake. So gathering the information, documents, but then in the intake, going through that information and asking questions, going through the documents, making sure there's nothing missing, and then modelling out from a financial perspective or from a parenting what their options are and discussing those options so that they can then maybe get the legal advice before the mediation, and they can come in really well prepared to hopefully resolve it. And then I set a list of what needs to be done for preparation. Is that the legal advice? Is that getting further documents? Is that financial advice, etc.? So it's really important, that intake. I have done a lot in the mock financial mediation and the mock parenting mediation, but we thought we'd come back to the mock intake and why that's so imperative, and how an education piece for lawyers on what actually happens in an intake. Should that be a party only intake with the party and the mediator, or should you as a lawyer attend? What are they going to cover? I think that's really important for lawyers to be aware of, and therefore we've put it on the day that is allocated for the Lawyer Day for International Mediation Awareness Week, and I look forward to presenting that mock mediation intake session.
Absolutely. I'm sure mediators will also be interested in how to coming and see what a very experienced and talented mediator, how they approach the process. With both of these sessions, we've got a networking break afterwards where we'll flow on to an open mic discussion option, so you'll be able to stay and engage a little bit more deeply or ask any additional questions that you have. So make sure that you schedule time to attend the session, but also the networking and discussion opportunities after.
Yes, and it's great to meet your colleagues in the family law space, mediators and lawyers connecting from Australia and from overseas. It's a really good opportunity, and thank you for running and hosting these sessions, Joanne, and we look forward to hosting some of those networking events as well.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for making the time to give people this bit of an idea of what you're going to be presenting. I'm sure there'll be a lot of interest. We will be recording, so if you're too slow and you miss out, you'll be able to at least be notified of the recording, or potentially if a space opens up. So go to imaw.org. That's the location for all of the events all around the world for the full week, which is the 7th to the 11th of November. So thanks once again, Fiona. I really appreciate your time now, and also in the Mediation Awareness Week. You've been supporting this and the industry for a number of years when we were just running Australian Mediation Awareness Week. I really do appreciate your leadership in this industry.
Thank you, Joanne, and look forward to International Mediation Awareness Week on the 7th to the 11th of November 2022.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.